The Washington Huskies went to Penn State for the first time in the history of the program. They entered that game 0-3 against Penn State all time, including losses in the Fiesta Bowl, a loss in Hawaii back in 1983, and a loss in the 1920s in Seattle. It was a total whiteout game for Penn State, and the stakes, well, they were really high for Penn State, who was trying to stay alive in their playoff race, and the Huskies, they're just looking to get bowl eligible. It was a full throttle whooping. The Huskies had no chance on that field, unfortunately. Let's discuss. So the Huskies have lost to Penn State in a game where we were all pretty excited to watch. This was a total whiteout game. I know a lot of people from Seattle or University of Washington alumni flew out to Pennsylvania, made the trek over to College Station, College Town, I think College Town, whatever their name is, and to Beaver Stadium to watch Penn State, University of Washington, total whiteout game. And well, it was on Peacock because the Huskies have been a team this year that's just been disappointing and probably got moved out of that NBC slot for a better game. And unfortunately, they were right because the Huskies looked like they did not belong on that field. You know, the thing is, the Huskies are now 5-5 on the season, and this is no means to panic because at the end of the day, this is a new coaching staff, new players, but there are some things like the fight, the lack of being able to get the ball in the end zone. There are some things here that make you upset as a Washington Husky fan, and I am upset this morning. I was upset last night. I'm upset this morning. It was not a way you want to. Welcome to the Big Ten. We have failed to win a game on the road in the Big Ten. Iowa loss, Rutgers loss, Penn State loss. Don't mind me if I'm forgetting another game, but it was a loss. We just keep losing on the road. Undefeated at home and losing on the road. And this game started just like every single Washington Husky game that we have lost, I feel like, starts. The Huskies get the ball moving right down that football field, looking actually pretty good and competent on offense like we usually do. And then, well, third down and short, we run a play where we get stuffed because their defensive line is just better than our offensive line, and we try to run a stretch play, a little bit of misdirection, which is probably the right play because their defense is really aggressive. So the only way you can really get them off balance is doing misdirection. But it didn't work. We get stuffed. We have to settle for a field goal. And tell me if you've heard this story before. We clank the field goal. Grady Gross misses, and then Penn State goes right down the field and scores a touchdown quickly. You know, every game after a UW loss, we say, hey, at least we outgained the opponent. Something looked good there. Well, we were outgained 486 yards to 193 yards. Not even close. Nothing. We didn't even look close to belonging on that field. We said before the game, Abdul Carter needs to be watched. Well, he was a menace. We said their corners are pretty good. Yep, they were good. But I want to talk about a couple of things here. Our red zone defense was atrocious. I thought we could at least get a stop at some point, but third down. I think there's a point in the game where there were 7 for 7 on third down, and a lot of that was in the red zone. And we said before the game, and we knew this was gonna. I mean, this is something that we talked about, but we said Tyler Warren was someone to watch for. But it was almost like we didn't even prep for Tyler Warren. He killed us. He destroyed us. He made us look small. He had 8 catches for 75 yards, and then he added 2 touchdowns on the ground, both from like the wildcat position, if you want to call it the wildcat. And it was just a total annihilation by the Penn State Nittany Lions. The Huskies are now 0-5 away from Husky Stadium on the season. That's something of concern. We have 2 games left. We'll get to those in a second. We had 2 drives the whole entire night, 2 that were 50-plus yards. They ended up in a total of 3 points. Once again, we cannot finish drives. Like, I feel like it's a broken record, but we cannot finish drives, and we continue to, well, not finish drives. It's just been one of those years where we can't do it. We cannot get the ball in the end zone. We drive up and down the field, and we just don't find a way to, take the ball and stuff it into the end zone, and that is a huge, huge problem for the team. 2 drives of 50 yards, 3 total points. We gave up 5 sacks, and we had 0 sacks. All of this is bad. Halftime, Jed Fish benched Will Rogers for Williams. Williams came in. He looked like he kind of provided a little bit of spark. He ran around. He kind of looked like Kyler Murray. Maybe I say that because he's from Arizona, so don't mind me if I say it. But that's what he kind of looked like. He actually looked pretty good, pretty electric. After the game, though, Jed Fish says that Will Rogers should and will probably remain the starter. And I'm not totally against that because Will Rogers hasn't really done much to lose his job. I wouldn't say he's done much to keep it on the road. At home, he's looked pretty good. He's been pretty efficient as a quarterback in general. But like, what? We're gonna probably go 1-1 in our last 2 games and make a bowl game and go 6-6. I mean, Williams is the future of the program, and I still believe Jed Fish is. This is just a weird season. A lot of newcomers, a lot of new faces, a new coaching staff. Remember, Nick Saban, I think, wins 6 wins in his first year in Alabama. It's not like you're going to catch lightning in a bottle each and every year. Kalen DeBoer was a special case where 2 years in, we're competing for a national championship, but that's not something that just happens in every single program. And I still believe in Jed Fish and what this program is trying to build, but I just think it was a disappointing day and a very disappointing season on the road where we're going to probably end up at, I hope I'm wrong, with 0 road wins because we got 2 games left. UCLA at home, which we need to take care of business on Friday night and make a bowl game, and then Oregon on the road. Now, maybe we can, crash Oregon's undefeated party on the road. I mean, it is a rivalry game, but it's going to be tough, and I think it's going to be tough with Will Rogers. Only way I think we beat Oregon is throwing a curveball and throwing the kitchen sink at them, which would be Williams starting at quarterback. And I'm not saying I want Will Rogers benched. I'm not saying that Will Rogers deserves to be benched, but I just don't know if he provides that extra spark that we might need to actually take the next step and, win a game on the road in Oregon. 2 games left, probably going to go 6-6 on the season, qualify for some bowl, and have just a very average season. And maybe our expectations were just so high because of last season. But that's what we've come to expect. This is a good program. This is a very, very top end program. You'd hope, you're always competing to get 8 wins before the season. That's kind of what we said, like 7, 8 wins. I think 6. I mean, we have a chance to get 7, but I think 6 is more realistic. And if we win a bowl game, we can get to 7. So that's the Penn State story. Bad day at the office for the Huskies. All right, guys, thank you for watching. This has been George on Tap, part of the Sports on Tap and Seattle on Tap network. Make sure you like and subscribe. Enjoy the last 2 games of this Husky football season before a bowl game. And hopefully we have to beat UCLA, at least qualify for a bowl game to salvage the season. We'll see you guys next time.